call this meeting of the Alvin Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Would you please rise and join us for the invocation given by Ms. Matoyer and remain standing for the pledge.
Please pray with me. Lord, Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight with gratitude. Thank you, Lord, for each one meeting here. Thank you for all of your blessings upon our community and our schools. Thank you, Lord, for our students, teachers, our staff members, volunteers, and community members who work to make our district great. We ask, Lord, that you bless each one of us with your guidance and wisdom tonight. And we ask all these things in your Son's precious name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
First on our agenda is the introduction of greeters as well as commendations.
Yes, ma'am. This evening, before I introduce to you our greeters, I'd like to recognize one group that is here with us this evening, the 2015 Leadership Institute from the Alvin Manville Chamber of Commerce. If you'll stand and be recognized from where you are, we appreciate you being here. We have Mike Farmer with Alvin PD, Liz Sitta with Alvin Community College, and Chris Riley from Baystar Printing. And we also have Joanna McWilliams, the president of the Alvin Manville Chamber. So thank you for joining us. I also have the pleasure of serving on the Leadership Institute this year, and today we spent the day focused on education. I began with Dr. Gilcrease and the board at the State of the District's address, followed by a tour of Manville High School, our Career and Technical Education Center, and Alvin Community College. So we appreciate them joining us here this evening. Thank you for being here, guys. And then for our greeters, this evening we had the Alvin High School Avid students. They served as our greeters and did a fantastic job. They're under the direction of Marie Tucker. And to start us off this evening, I would like to introduce one of the Avid students, Mason.
Good evening, board members, community members, and Dr. Gilcrease. Thank you for having the Alvin High School AVID program as greeters this evening. My name is Mason Myers. I am a 3-year AVID member, a junior at Alvin High School, and a student council officer. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. Plainly, we are a group of students who want to improve ourselves through a personal drive and dedication in order to be prepared in high school and for life after high school. AVID has given me the tools to prepare for college and learn how to organize. Thank you.
Hi. Hi. Hello, I'm Joel Castro, a 4-year AVID member, and a junior class club representative, and also the mascot of Alvin High School. Last year, we established our first AVID scholarship, and the person who got that scholarship was Alondra Garcia, who is now currently attending Texas Women's University, and we are able to have this scholarship through fundraising, and we hope to have more than one scholarship this year. AVID has given me awareness about different colleges and the life out of high school. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Samuel Salinas. I am currently a senior here at Alvin High School. I am a 4-year AVID member as well as a 4-year band member. I am the first chair alto player. I'm going on 2 years inside of the Interact Club and 2 years inside of the National Honor Society. I plan on going to University of Houston main campus to study musical education and musical performance. So, our main slogan here in AVID is it's all about the A. If you're not from Alvin, you may not know what the A stands for. Well, for me, the A stands for astonishment, for we exceed the status quo and break all natural expectation.
Hello, my name is D'Angelo Dunning. I'm an AVID because I know it gives us the skills we need to succeed.
Hello, my name is Liliana. I've been an AVID for 4 years, and the A stands for academics. We strive to make the grade and take rigorous classes.
Hi, I'm Jackie Rubio, currently a freshman at Alvin High School, and we believe that the A stands for art, letting our students be creative and show who they are.
I'm Detrell Dunning. I'm a freshman at Alvin High School. In athletics, we practice time management so that we can participate and represent our school.
Hello, I'm Tamara May, a senior at Alvin High School. And achievement, we are determined to achieve success on many levels, whether it's academically or personally. We could go on, but we know you have a meeting to get to. Thank you for having us this evening, and don't forget, it's all about the A.
Hi, I'm Austolia Rivera.
And I'm Merari Castillo.
Dr. Gilcrease, we would like to present to you with this Alvin High School AVID t-shirt.
I'm going to come get the picture with you. All right, Dr. Gilcrease, we appreciate it. You have the shirt. You need to be in the picture. All right, guys, thank you all for being here. Thank you for representing your school, Alvin High School and Alvin ISD. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you, Ms. Tucker.
Me too.
Thank you, guys. And now on to our commendations this evening. Various Alvin ISD students participated in the 2015 Alvin ISD Convocation. And these students and staff who will be recognized this evening gave up a considerable amount of their time this summer in preparation for a wonderful start to the beginning of this school year. So the Board of Trustees wanted to invite you here this evening to recognize you for your efforts. So representing our students, we have first Reese Powling of Alvin High School and the Good Morning with Reese show, as some of you recall. Next, we have on the list Mr. Antoine Hill, who helped steal the show as well as Convocation. Is Antoine with us? Okay, he will be here shortly. We received a message that he might be here late, and we will have to recognize him when he arrives because he gave of his time immensely to make Convocation. He'll interrupt you, that's right. Next, we have Angel Bennett of Assets Academy. And Mr. Diesel Brown of E.C. Mason Elementary. And Zoe Brown of Duke Elementary. Duke Butler of Merrick Elementary. Aaron Chandler of Nolan Ryan Junior High. Lauren Collins of Alvin Junior High. Taryn Green of Merrick Elementary. Krista King of Savannah Lakes Elementary. Peyton Nybauer of Alvin Junior High. And Arya Rido from Manville Junior High. And parents, please feel free to take as many photos as you like. We'll wait till you get the perfect photo. We will also have these on our Flickr gallery within the next day or two, but please come forward and take as many photos as you'd like this evening. Again, y'all did an outstanding job helping us kick off the school year in Alvin ISD, and thank you for being with us tonight. Congratulations. In addition, members of the Manville High School musical cast had a couple numbers for us during convocation. We would like to recognize them for their efforts. Benjamin Berryman. Jameer Brown. Garrett Dawkins. Maddie Fiddler. Bethany Fortune. Lauren Green. Miriam Green. Kennedy Haygood. Antoine Hill. Scarlett Knight. Ariana Obar. Diego Portillo. Fria Pimentuan. And Justino Vasquez. All right, parents, again, please take all the photos you get. Guys, I'll tell you what, as I heard y'all perform and then during convocation, I could not believe that y'all were a musical cast of a high school. Y'all look like you could have been on the stage at any one of the theaters downtown Houston. Y'all did a magnificent job, so thank you for starting off the school year for us right.
Director, John Gallagher.
John, come on down and jump in the photo. And Mr. Antoine Hill, everyone has That's okay. David Sower, Leah Short, and Mr. Gallagher as well. We have commendations for y'all, but come on down and get in the photo with all your students. Yeah, y'all.
So y'all have your own sleep club.
All right, guys, thank you and congratulations. Now, Mr. Gallagher and Mr. Sower, don't go too far. We have commendations for you as well. Alvin ISD faculty and staff partnered with folks here in the administration building and Dr. Gilcrease to plan and execute the 2015 employee convocation to create a welcoming experience for the fellow staff members when they came back. And so from Manville High School, we have Mr. David Sower. Leah Short. And John Gallagher. From Manville Junior High, we have Waldron Archer. From Alvin High School, we have Lori Reese. We also had the District Teachers of the Year help us with convocation, Ms. Katie Batchelor from Fairview Fairview Junior High. And Misty Kettler of Passmore Elementary. In addition, Manville High School class of 2015 graduate Hannah Mead contributed as the choreographer for the musical routine, and she also shared her heartfelt testimony. Hannah. And if we have any parents here this evening for this group, we have a son. All right, congratulations, and again, thank you for all that you did.
Mr. Combs. So I have to say thank you to the whole group as well, especially for helping me out. Reese and Antoine, thank you guys for taking care of me. I nailed every one of my lines in that. I want that noted. And then Scarlett and Jameer, I'm sorry that you were stuck with trying to teach me how to dance. So.
All right, and then following up on that, I don't know how you follow up on the staff and students who put on that convocation show, but teachers throughout Alvin ISD spent an immense amount of time in professional learning this summer, but a few teachers went above and beyond, seeking out unique experiences that they plan to relay to their students throughout the year. First, we have Mrs. Jacqueline LaBelle and Lisa Stopp from Manville High School. If they're here, come on down, please. Well, I heard from Ms. LaBelle that she may not be able to make it, but these two staff members actually traveled to Ethiopia, and they received a grant that only 10 teachers in the entire nation received this summer. So we know their students will benefit from that immensely. We do have Ms. Mary Stimson with us this evening. Ms. Stimson, if you'll come on down. Ms. Stimson. Teaches at Alvin High School, and she is bringing new learning experiences and resources to her campus thanks to her summer learning opportunities with C-SPAN. She was part of C-SPAN Summer Educators Conference as well as the Supreme Court Institute for Teachers this summer. So I know you'll have incredible learning experiences for your students. Congratulations, Ms. Stimson. Well, Ms. Batchelor, if you're here, I've heard that our Teacher of the Year from Fairview Junior High is here. And Ms. Batchelor, we have a commendation for you for helping us out with convocation. Well, we have to have a picture.
Haven't seen the whole process.
All right. Thank you, and congratulations on being Teacher of the Year and helping with conversation. Finally, this evening we have Ms. Marguerite Bagwell, Alvin High School science, health science teacher. Ms. Bagwell, are you with us? Yeah. Ms. Bagwell is also a licensed dental hygienist, and she spent some time this summer providing dental services for the women and children in the House of Hope at refugee camp in Nicaragua. During this year's trip, she saw 83 patients in 4.5 days, and her experiences will allow her to not only enhance her teaching skills, but also share the health concerns of the world with the Alvin High School students and community. Congratulations, and thank you for your service. Those are our commendations for the evening.
Thank you. Okay, then, moving forward on the agenda, our next agenda item is open forum. See, if you would like to address the board, you should have completed the public participation form and submitted it to the superintendent's secretary prior to the meeting according to policy BED local. After I call your name, please come to the podium and state your name and address and the purpose for addressing the board. Please understand that you have 5 minutes to speak. I respectfully ask that you make no derogatory statement about any board member, student, or employee of the school district. I ask that you also understand that the board cannot take action on your request or comment at this time. However, the president or designee may refer the request to the superintendent for review. And the first, it looks like a team here. We have Kathy Mattis and Miss Jerry Pryor.
Good evening. I'm happy to be here and with Jerry this evening on behalf of the Alvin Museum Society. The first thing we'd like to do is to express our thanks to the superintendent and the AISD Board of Trustees for their support and cooperation with our efforts to connect students and teachers through our temporary exhibits program. We deeply appreciate the opportunity to raise awareness of the Alvin Historical Museum as an instructional asset to our community. I'm also here to extend an invitation to board members to join in celebrating a much-awaited event, the reinstallation of Alvin's restored post office mural. Most of you are much too young to remember the mural that hung in the museum in the post office in the early 1940s. It was removed from the wall in 1966 when the building was remodeled. It languished for 10 years in the basement, folded up and forgotten. Thanks to the efforts of Cleo Congrady and Ida Blanchette, it was taken out of limbo and properly housed in the museum along with all of its other artifacts until this year, 2015. Fortunately, we were able to receive a donated, specific donation for that, and the mural has been restored, and we're now ready to reinstall it. The event will happen September the 26th on a Saturday at 1 o'clock. We certainly hope that you can join us for this historic and much-awaited event. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. The other person who has completed a document is Mr. Raymond Ruiz.
Hello, Board. Thank you. I'm here to request AISD police be a little more proactive in their enforcement of school zone speed limits. My son is a 5th grader at Wilder Elementary. He's in his 7th year there, and we all know the growth over there. Each year traffic gets worse, and speeders are a real problem in that area there. And I'd really like to see Pearland Police and AISD Police be more active in slowing people down, giving tickets, and that sort of thing. Unfortunately, I think it's a matter of time before a child gets hit there, and it's amazing how fast people drive through there. I sit on the side of the road waiting for my son after school sometimes, and it's just mind-boggling how fast people go. The other thing I would like to encourage you to consider is placing some of those really bright flashing lights that I've seen in some school zones. Those are pretty effective at getting people's attention. I think a lot of times people just don't pay attention to the school zone signs, and those flashing lights are pretty hard to miss. So again, I think that would be a good investment and maybe save some possible injury or even death to a child. One other thing I'd like you to please ask the police to do is to be more active in the intersections. They're around Wilder, the cars back up pretty significantly in the mornings, and there's a policeman there, or a police lady there with some regularity, but she's just kind of standing at the corner, just watching all this, people creeping on by the stop sign. If she would be a little more active and kind of let lanes clear out, I think it would really help traffic flow a lot in that area, and they're just kind of standing there anyway. So that's really all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, then moving on to our next agenda item is the request to consider, it's consent agenda items, and there are 8 of them, A through H. Are there any that any board member would like to pull? Okay, hearing none then, do I hear a motion to approve consent agenda items A through H?
I'll move.
First by Mr. Humbird. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Scheibel. Okay, then, we don't have any discussion, so then all in favor of approving agenda items A through H? Motion carries 7 to 0. Okay, then. Moving on, the request to consider approval of Communities in School Annual Partnership Agreement.
Board, every year, Alvin ISD partners with communities in school to provide CIS programs and ACE after-school programs within Alvin ISD. There are currently 10 CIS programs within the district and 5 ACE programs. This contract does require an annual signature, and our recommendation is that we approve this contract.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the CIS Annual Partnership Agreement as presented?
So moved.
First by Ms. Winterstrom, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Tanini. Are there any questions or discussion? Okay, then, hearing none, all in favor of approving the CIS Annual Partnership Agreement as presented? Okay, do I have any abstentions or
I'll
declines?
abstain.
Thank you very much.
It's a fantastic program, but conflict of interest.
So we have 6 approval and 1 abstention. Thank you. The next agenda item is a request to consider approval of the Head Start Partnership Agreement.
Another annual partnership that we have is with Head Start to provide services to students who are dually eligible for AISD pre-K and also Head Start services. Head Start provides an additional support staff member in the identified pre-K class at Mark Twain Elementary. Additionally, they provide parent training, home visits, and additional resources for both parents and the classroom. Our recommendation is that we approve this agreement.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the Head Start Partnership Agreement as presented?
So moved.
First by Ms. Pickering. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Scheibel. Are there any questions or comments?
It's another great program.
Yes, it is. Okay, then, hearing none, all in favor of approving the Head Start Partnership Agreement as presented? Motion carries 7 to 0. Alrighty then, next agenda item is the request to consider approval of administrative award to purchase 2 tractor trucks.
Board, as you know, each of our high school bands presently have a semi-trailer for hauling their instruments and other equipment for Friday nights. This would allow us to purchase 2 trucks to be used to pull those trailers and look at moving to a 3rd high school trailer in the future.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the administrative award to purchase 2 tractor trucks?
So moved.
First by Ms. Tanini. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Winterstrom. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, then hearing none, all in favor of approving the administrative award to purchase 2 tractor trucks? Thank you. Motion carries 7 to 0. Next agenda item is a request to consider approval of a county-wide joint election contract.
So we got out of it for the May election, but we're going to get back in for the November. This contract is with Brazoria County for conducting this November joint election. This contract would be for the 2015 bond election.
Thank you, Dr. Gilcrease. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the interlocal joint election to be conducted by the Brazoria County for the 2015 bond election? First by Ms. Winterstrom. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Scheibel. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, then, hearing none, all in favor of approving the interlocal joint election to be conducted by Brazoria County for the 2015 bond election? Motion carries 7 to 0. Next is a request to consider approval of the 2015-2016 Alvin ISD tax rate.
As we adopt our budget earlier in the year and get ready for a July 1 start, but until values come back, officially come back to us from the appraisal district, from the state comptroller's office, we can't officially set the tax rate. So our tax rate that we're proposing for the 2015-2016 school year is $1.417 per $100 evaluation. The breakdown is 1.04 for maintenance and operation and 0.377 for interest and sinking. This does not exceed the effective tax rate, and it is the same tax rate as we had in the previous year.
All righty. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the adoption of the tax rate of $1.417000?
So moved.
First by Mr. Humbard. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Metoyer. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, then, hearing none, all in favor of the board approving the adoption of the tax rate of $1.417000? Okay, motion carries 7-0. Next is the agenda item, which is the request to consider approval of a class size waiver.
Board, every year we adopt a waiver for class size due to anticipating some of them increasing above that 22-to-1 ratio. This year, we're at about 96% of our classes meeting that 22-to-1. Later on in the agenda, we have some other fixes for that. This is just in case we do get to one class or two in each campus that exceed that, so it allows us to manage our personnel units a little more effectively.
Okay, then. All in favor for the board, all in favor to approve the class size waiver as, pardon me?
That was a motion.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, well, I was actually fixing to ask for a motion. Okay, then, excuse me. Let's start over again, rewind. Okay, do I hear a motion for the board to approve granting the class size waiver?
So moved.
Thank you for that first. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Tanini. Okay, are there any questions or comments on my jumbled motion? And I'm going to repeat the motion to make sure we're all clear on it, too.
I do have a
Yes, sir.
question, and I just want to make sure. We do this because the state says we have to. If we didn't do this, is there penalties from the state if we had 23-to-1 in a class?
So the question is, a matter of timing. Do we have 23 in one class for 10 days? Probably nothing happens. If we have them in there for the remainder of the year, when we turn in our numbers at the end of the year, they're probably going to look and see if we have a waiver, and if not, then they'll write us a letter. They'll write me a nice letter with my name at the top that says, you went over in this class and you didn't have a waiver. Please fill out some sort of corrective action plan to make sure this doesn't happen.
Okay.
So we don't have waivers filed for all of our elementary schools. So what would happen if one of the elementary schools that we've not filed a waiver for needs to go over at some point during the year?
We would come back and specifically ask for that waiver. And because we didn't feel like doing a blanket waiver was appropriate, we felt like it was targeted to where we knew we would have possible growth issues.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Okay, then. All in favor to approve the class size waiver as presented? Motion carries 7-0, and I apologize for that jumbled request, and yeah. So moving on, the request to consider approval of the revised 2015-2016 academic calendar.
Board House Bill 2610 changed the annual school requirements from 180 days of instruction to 75,600 minutes of instruction. This gives us a little bit of flexibility to create a calendar that meets our local needs. So we're proposing this revised calendar for this present school year that moves the last day of school from June 1st to May 27th, adds back 2 full instructional days on October 21st and February 10th, and adding back 6 full instructional days at the high school on September 6th, October 7th, November 11th, January 27th, March 2nd, and April 6th. It puts us over that number at all 3 schools. And it also allows us to bank enough minutes so that we wouldn't have to make up the 2 bad weather days. If we were to miss those, then we would waiver for anything past those 2 days. So our recommendation is that we approve the revised 2015-16 Alvin ISD school calendar.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the revised 2015-2016 Alvin ISD school calendar as presented?
So moved.
First by Ms. Tanini. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Scheibel. Are there any questions or comments?
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So going to minutes and moving the graduation or end of school date up to May, will this cause us to begin school earlier in August?
The start date for school is still the 4th Monday
That'll stay the same.
in August. This bill also has a provision that you can't get out of school before May 16th. That's part of House Bill 2610.
Okay,
So people can't front load and get out at the end of April.
okay.
But so the start of school is the same.
I know, this is already giving me an extra week at the kids' home. Okay. Which I love.
That was quick.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
I just want to make the same comment that I made in the workshop. I love this idea. I especially love getting out before Memorial Day and not coming back for those couple of strange full days that we get added in. I do want to make sure that we make sure to include somewhere some professional learning, because that is part of what we're losing, and I realize that was definitely a delicate balance that we're trying to balance between kids don't learn much in a half day or learn anything in a half day. But what were the teachers learning, and where was the balance in that? And I know part of the reason we were doing that was to prevent us from pulling the teachers out and having a sub in, which then your kids still aren't learning anything. So I want to make sure that we still work on making sure our teachers are given the training that they need.
And in anticipation for some of those effects, this past summer, that we worked with our teachers, and they had 3 or 4 days of staff development during the summertime, that then they swapped out 4 days during the school year of professional learning, so that they had that chance during the summer to have professional learning and use it in planning for their classroom. And so we're cognizant of the fact that professional learning is ongoing for all of us.
Right.
And so we're going to continue to work with the teachers to ask about how best to approach that as we go through.
Okay.
Any further questions? Okay, then hearing none, all in favor to approve the revised 2015-2016 Alvin ISD school calendar as presented. All right, motion carries 7-0. Next on the agenda is the request to consider approval of grade configuration for Shadow Creek High School.
Board, after much discussion and study on this issue, and after meetings with everybody from the UIL to student groups here, our recommendation is that we open Shadow Creek High School with grades 9 and 10 as the mandatory grades, and then a one-time option for students entering into their junior year to transfer from Manville to Shadow Creek.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the grade configuration for Shadow Creek High School as presented?
So moved.
First by Ms. Metoyer, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pickren. Are there any questions? Yes.
So, okay, so first up, I have a list, so I'll share. When would the sophomores this year, who will be juniors next year, when would they be looking at needing to make this decision? Because the way I understand it is they would opt to move to Shadow Creek if they're in that zone, and that's where they'll stay their junior and senior year. And if they opt to stay at Manville, that's where they will stay their junior, senior. So how much time are we going to give our students and our parents to make that decision for these incoming juniors?
We will begin immediate conversations, specifically with that grade level, so that they start making some decisions. We're going to ask them for not a firm commitment, but a general commitment sometime in the month of October. And so we can have some general ideas about numbers that we can turn in for UIL realignment. And then sometime in the spring, I would assume that later in the spring semester, after spring break, we would develop a hard date by which they would have to make that determination.
Okay. Did you have another question?
I do, but I'll let somebody go next, and I'll jump in.
I've got, and just so I want to make sure I'm clear, the 11th grade one-time option, that's only for 11th graders who are zoned to that school, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And as we spoke earlier, I also wanted to make sure academically that we're offering or making sure those kids can get any AP class that's available at the other high school.
That's correct.
Okay.
And we at the school district will do whatever's necessary to make sure that happens.
Okay.
And are you going to make sure, well, I mean, I know you're saying it here, but we're going to want to make sure that we're educating our parents that are going to, be in that zone what those options are going to be and how those juniors will not be penalized going to Shadow Creek versus staying at Manville, right? From academically.
Yeah, well, what we're going to tell them is we're going to do whatever we have to do to meet their kids' academic needs. Now, if I can't tell you the exact plans because I don't know which classes would need that movement and which would not. Those will have to be plans we work out over the summer as we go through the course requests with students and then build master schedules on campuses.
I'll go. Can you talk a little bit about UIL configuration with extracurricular activities and athletics and how that'll work?
So our plan would be to open that school that first year with every activity at the varsity level. They all would be at the varsity level. We would probably, just looking at the numbers, open as a 5A campus, and that campus would participate in some 5A district in everything, with the exception of varsity football, and as such, sub-varsity football as well. We would petition the UIL to place us into a lower classification district for 2 years, and so football would not be eligible for any postseason honors. They could not make the playoffs or advance in the playoffs. However, every other sport and activity would be eligible for postseason honors.
But they would play a varsity schedule.
They'll play a varsity schedule. They'll play at a classification. We're going to petition to ask them to play us at a classification lower for those 2 years.
And no postseason for those 2 years.
For no postseason for those 2 years.
So we will make sure and reiterate that those athletes going in to play football that year will realize even if they go 10-0, they will not make a playoff.
Correct.
Okay, we need to make sure we tell parents that too.
Absolutely.
But they do get the opportunity to play.
To play at the varsity
At
level.
varsity level those 2 years.
Absolutely, yes.
Ms. Pickering, you had a question?
That was it. I was asking about the JV and varsity.
They'll, you know, I can't tell you how many teams we'll have at the sub-varsity level. We'll probably have one varsity and at least one sub-varsity team. It just would depend upon numbers.
And everything else will compete at the 5A level.
Correct.
Okay.
Which would have playoffs.
Which would have playoffs and postseason.
Okay.
And if they, and I'll say realistically for football, specifically, no matter how you open that school, the first 2 years, they're not going to have postseason honors. I mean, in any way you configure it, whether they're eligible for them or not, it's going to be difficult. So if you open with just sub-varsity teams, obviously there's no postseason for sub-varsity in anything. If you opened it as a full 5A campus competing in a full 5A football district, the chances for postseason, moving after that is pretty slim as a new campus.
For juniors who choose to stay at Manville High School to finish their high school career, will we continue to offer transportation?
Yes, yes. That would be their school that they're zoned to.
Okay.
That's their zone.
Okay.
For their junior and senior year.
They couldn't go to.
So then what about the juniors that decide to go to Shadow Creek if they're, I would assume, because we'd already have buses running for freshmen and sophomores.
If they're eligible for transportation
Right.
within the Shadow Creek zone, then they would also be eligible for transportation. The eligibility for transportation in that zone is going to be a lot fewer kids
Right.
than other places because of the mileage requirements.
Any other questions? All righty then, let's take a vote. All in favor we have a first, we have a second, we have discussion to approve the grade configuration for Shadow Creek High School as presented. All right, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Board.
Next on the agenda is a request to consider approval of colors and mascot for Shadow Creek High School.
So another extensive conversation that we've had is about color scheme and mascot for Shadow Creek High School. So we went through quite the process to get to this point, and what we will at some point bring the Brazoria County folks in here. They couldn't make it this week. We had them on the commendations to actually thank them for their help with this. But we went through the voting process, even with the kids, let them get inside the voting booth and have that chance to learn. And so it was a great process. The only thing is we got to the end of everything and the vote was a dead tie between two mascots. And so we left from there and decided we would go then to the Electoral College at that point. So what we did was we garnered those kids for the end of MAV camp at Manville High School, the kids that were eligible freshmen basically, that would be those students that entered into Shadow Creek High School. Presented them with all of the possibilities that were on the vote and let them decide. And so they overwhelmingly chose one mascot at that meeting. And so that's how we got to the mascot. The colors have been kicked around and tried to tie into the recommended mascot. And so the colors are, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Roberts, they're ocean blue, silver, and black. Is that correct? And the Shadow Creek Sharks will look good in ocean blue and silver and black.
Which ocean blue are we talking about?
Is it like this?
We will have some official ocean blue at some point. Yes, yes. So that's our recommendation.
All righty then, how exciting. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the school colors and mascot for Shadow Creek High School as presented?
So moved.
First by Ms. Pickering, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Humbird. Are there any questions?
One more time. The Sharks.
The Sharks.
Sharks.
Ocean
Shadow
blue,
Creek Sharks.
Ocean blue,
Silver.
silver,
And black.
Black.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, then, hearing none, all in favor of approving the school colors and mascot for Shadow Creek High School as presented? Okay, any opposed? Any abstains? All right, then, motion carries 6 approvals with 1 abstaining. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is a request to consider approval of employments.
Board, in your packet, you had some additional personnel units for classroom teachers. Also today, you were updated with an additional name on that sheet. And so as we said earlier at the end of last board meeting, that we would probably, there'd be a work in progress. And so as we continue to deal with the growth, we are going to be adding those positions. Also, in the update that you had today, we are adding the additional 20 positions to be filled as needed. We're not saying we're going to fill all of them today, and we're not going to fill them with just a warm body, but we want to have those positions there depending upon how the growth goes for the rest of the school year.
Excellent. Thank you. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the requested personnel items as presented?
So moved.
First by Mr. Humbird. Is that a second by Ms. Winterstrom? Sure. Thank you so much. Is there any questions? Okay, then hearing none, all in favor of approving the requested personnel items as presented? Okay, motion carries 7-0. Thank you. All right, as we work our way through our list, agenda item number 16 is a request to consider approval of administrative growth position. Elementary assistant principals, it looks like there's 2 for elementary schools with enrollment over 900.
Board, as we also look at this, Duke has over 1,000 kids on their campus this year. And so some additional administrative help for that particular campus and for Jeter, which is over 900. Quite honestly, if we have a couple other campuses that are very close, if they continue to grow as they have been, we're going to be right back to you in October asking for a couple more of these, just because the administrative duties are obviously taxed the more kids that you get. So our recommendation is that we add these 2 elementary assistant principal growth positions now, but it may not be the last time we come ask, so.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the request for 2 administrative growth positions, specifically, that would be the 2 elementary assistant principals as submitted?
So moved.
First by Ms. Scheibel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Metoyer. Are there any questions or discussion? Okay, then hearing none, all in favor to approve the request of administrative growth positions, 2 elementary assistant principals as submitted? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, next on the agenda is the request to consider approval of administrative positions, head football coach for Shadow Creek High School.
Board, it's also that time of year as we start looking at opening that school to start filling some high-profile positions. The first we would like to post is the assistant athletic director and the head football coach for Shadow Creek High School.
All right. Do I hear a motion to approve the staffing request of head football coach at Shadow Creek High School as submitted?
So moved.
First by Ms. Tanini. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Winterstrom. Are there any questions?
When do we plan to hire for this? Immediately?
Well, this allows us to post it and then look. Head football is going to be one of those positions that you're looking at the end of football season before you would really schedule times to talk to them. But at the same time, you don't want to wait too long because you need that person in place early in the spring semester to start ordering equipment and managing schedules, and especially as we get ready for a February realignment for all the sports. So somewhere in the late fall, early spring.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, then hearing none, all in favor of approving the staffing request of head football coach at Shadow Creek High School as submitted? Motion carries 7-0. All right, next agenda item is the request to consider approval of administrative position band director for Shadow Creek High School.
Board, just like the other high-profile position, this band director position is ready to be, we've actually already posted this position. This will be approval for that position. We will begin interviews on this one rather quickly and have opportunity to hopefully bring a recommendation to you in the October board meeting. That position has a little more time limitations on it because of some of the equipment they have to order. So it will end up being, quite honestly, probably the first position we fill for Shadow Creek High School.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the staffing request of band director at Shadow Creek High School as submitted?
So moved.
First by Ms. Scheibel. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Metoyer. Are there any questions? Okay, then hearing none, all in favor of approving the staffing request of band director at Shadow Creek High School as submitted? Motion carries 7-0. Next on the agenda is a request to consider approval of administrative assistant position, secretary to principal of Shadow Creek High School.
And since we were in the position, the position asking place, this one will be a little later in the school year when we add it, but we wanted to go ahead and get the position approved so we could start advertising for it. Obviously, sometime in the spring semester, we'll have to bring this person in as we begin to build budgets and those kind of things as we enter into the preparation for the actual opening of the building.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the staffing request of secretary to the principal at Shadow Creek High School as submitted?
So moved.
First by Ms. Tanini. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Winterstrom. Are there any questions? Okay, then hearing none, all in favor of approving the staffing request of secretary to principal at Shadow Creek High School as submitted? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you.
We're on a roll.
Yeah, we are on a
keep
roll.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have. Yeah, that's right.
All right, next on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
Oh, that's my lights.
That's all you.
Yeah. So, first day of school, August 24th. Our current enrollment, that is as of September the 1st, 22,030. Today on teams, it was 22,146 was the enrollment. So we will watch as we roll through the next couple of days and start cleaning those up. Again, the bond election date is set for November 3rd. Early voting is October 19th through the 30th. There is the bond, alvinisd.net bond 2015 website that will answer specific questions about the contents of that particular, the buildings and the tax rate implications are all included in that website. We've changed the date again for Manville Junior High dedication. It is now Sunday, September the 20th, 2015. Mr. Root, we're just having a hard time finding a time where we can dedicate that building. So
We'll be ready.
you're ready? Okay, all right. So September the 20th. And then Friday, September 18th is the Alvin ISD Education Foundation 8th Annual Fall Gala at the Hilton Garden Inn up there in Shadow Creek Parkway. And Miss Olson has guaranteed a fabulous time will be had by all. So that's all on my report.
Well, thank you. Okay, Board, our next agenda item is is there any future agenda items? Okay, hearing none. The Board will now adjourn into executive session pursuant to Texas Open Meetings Act 551.072, discussion of purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property.